Versatile Mage. Chapter 42. Messing with the students. After the 3 groups of 20 people passed by the valley, a man wearing a straw hat jumped down from a tree within the forest of the valley. Within his hand was a scoreboard. After he had registered what he needed, he quickly left the forest and headed off to an empty meadow. All 3 of the groups have passed. Amongst them was a wind elemental student named Zhang Xiaoho who has been exceptionally remarkable, the straw hat guy said as he walked into a tent to the man inside it. If the students were here, they would have been shocked as they discovered the practical teachers as well as the military instructors were all there. They were all sitting comfortably, eating snacks, and drinking wine. Oh, Zhang Kong creased his eyebrow. From Zhang Kong's impression, there was no wind elemental student among them called Zhang Xiaoho that had a high cultivation. Whatever, that was normal. Cultivation was just the foundation. The most important part of a magician was actually their head and their courage. Note this name, we can give him a high grade, Zhang Kong said toward assistant military instructor Pan Lijian seated next to him. Pan Lijian nodded her head as she quickly noted Zhang Xiaohu's name. Haha, you battle mages of the stronghold sure know how to play, Zhang Jianguo laughed. Yeah, first, we directly put the students on the great mountains and give them a sense of feeling they'd have no help whatsoever. And then, we discreetly follow them and find the more outstanding students during the process of them completing the mission and give them grades according to that. This idea couldn't be any better. Chen Weiliang also smiled. Yeah, compared to the idling from the past, this can clearly reflect a student's quality. Tang Yu also nodded in agreement. If the 100 students who were slandered to the point where they'd sounded like trash knew about that their teachers teamed up with the instructors to do this, who knew what kind of faces they would reveal? Teachers and the military instructors naturally couldn't just ignore them. Currently, the things they were studying were indeed not enough for them to survive in the outer regions of the city. However, if they were not given an environment where they could experience the danger, then they would never be able to reach a state of surviving it. Thus, the best method would be treating them cruelly on the surface and then following them in secret. If there were any accidents, they could quickly lend a hand. Chief Zhang Kong, I was almost tricked by you. I thought you really were going to be heartless and not allow a single student to pass the practicals, Vice Military Instructor Pan Lijian said. You're wrong there. Those who are useless during the practicals will not pass, Zhang Kong stated very directly. This is a bounty. There's no way anyone is capable of completing it. Yeah, I think it's already exceedingly good for them to be able to pass through the Monster Vine region, Chen Weiliang said. Naturally, if it was a real bounty, they would not be able to complete it. Let's not even talk about them. Even the military instructors here wouldn't necessarily be able to complete it, Zhang Kong said with a smile. Even military instructors wouldn't necessarily be able to complete it. What does that mean? Zhang Jianguo asked in puzzlement. It's like this. Since we are making the den of the one-eyed magic wolf the destination for the students, we would have to ensure that there are no remnants of a one-eyed magic wolf. Thus, we placed a summoner to guard the den. The summoner mage is actually the last test for the students. The den doesn't actually have a magical beast, but there is a summoned beast, Luo Yunbo said with a smile. As the group of teachers listened to this, their eyes began to sparkle. Chen Weiliang, the head of the teachers, immediately began to clap his hands. Smart, very smart. This move is incredibly smart. Zhu Musheng also violently nodded his head. Yeah. We can't let the students face a genuine magical beast yet, there would be numerous casualties. The practicals are for the students to temper their reactions towards a magical beast. If they don't face a magical beast, then the impact of the practical won't be effective. Placing a summoner mage there and have him summon a beast to play the role of a magical beast is extremely fitting. This way, they're able to reach the maximum efficiency of students facing a genuine magical beast, as well as guaranteeing their safety. I'm really thankful to you, Boss Zhang Kong, for coming up with such a wonderful practical test. I believe the students will definitely reap a harvest this time. Zhu Musheng said with a slight smile. It's my obligation. Speaking of which, there's only one summoned beast. What if the students are more vicious than what we have imagined and defeat the summoned beasts with the combined force? Tang Yu couldn't help but ask. Humph, Tang Yu, you are thinking too much. In our 20 years of teaching at Tianlan Magic High, there has never been a single student who has been able to properly cast their magic on their first meeting with a magical beast. If we were to take a step back, even if they're able to cast their magic spells, these students are only able to cast their primary skill, which cannot wound the muscles of a summoned beast, Zhang Jianguo said with confidence. Yeah, the strongest amongst elements are fire and lightning. Only Zhu Zhaoting, the lightning mage, is able to give the summoned beast a slight challenge. Whereas fire burst can at most give flesh wounds, Chen Weiliang said with a laugh. The teachers and the instructors began to laugh one by one. Indeed, they were very clear on the strengths of each student. The mission on the practicals this time was impossible to complete. All they wanted was for the students to grow during the process of the mission. At least, they would be able to keep notes of all their experiences during the mission. Tang Yu didn't laugh at all. She looked toward the valley in the distance that was enveloped in fog. Mo Fan has been in possession of the Stardust magic tool for a whole year. I wonder if his fire burst has reached a higher level. If that would be the case, then he could be the only student that is capable of wounding the summoned beast, thus, receiving the S grade shouldn't be a problem. Tang Yu thought to herself. Soon after, Tang Yu also shook her head. Being able to fully cast a spell when you were up against a ferocious magical beast would already be quite good. All Tang Yu wished for is for the 100 elite students to not be wiped out during the summoned beast stage. This was because, as long as they were able to cast a spell, then Zhang Kong would be giving them an A on the practical class. An A was already the highest grade a student was able to receive from an instructor on the practicals for many years. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.